Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Manning Field. We've whittled this 2022 Lynn City Championship Tournament down to the two final games. We played 6. This is Game 7, and it's the first championship round, and it's St. Mary's girls taking on Classical girls. St. Mary's 1-0. Classical actually 2-0. They played a game after last week. Classical has pitched 2 shutouts. They've scored 13 goals in 2 games and haven't given up a goal. St. Mary's hasn't given up a goal either, but they've only played the 1. They scored 7 goals against Tech, and they played the second half not even trying to take a shot on net. They had 7 goals in the first half. They didn't try to score in the second half. They just tried to run the clock and keep the ball away and get the win. So neither team has given up a goal. The difference is Classical has played 2 games. Kylie Kennison in net for St. Mary's. Lauren Wilson for Classical. St. Mary's in the blue, Classical in the white. We had a little bit of a problem in the first game where it was Lynn English and St. Mary's. In the consolation for the boys, they both come out in white uniforms. St. Mary's had to go to the locker room and change to their blues. St. Mary's offside. I think that was Brooke Maloney. Boy, she can fly. She's an outstanding athlete. She was an all-star in softball as an 8th grader. She was a big part of the St. Mary's State Championship basketball team. Very good soccer player. This is St. Mary's team that has only 3 seniors. And they only have 3 juniors. Their outstanding players are all sophomores or less. Bella Awumi, who was a force, and I mean a force for the basketball team. She was outstanding. And when I say outstanding, great player, was a big part. She had a big block of a shot at the end of the game at Lowell that helped them to move on to the state final. She did all of that as a 7th grader. So she's aged a year. She's now an 8th grader. In the last game they played, she got a legitimate hat trick. She scored 3 straight goals here. Another one of those great athletes at St. Mary's, young kid. St. Mary's will have to fight to keep her in school. There'll be prep schools and other schools trying to get her to switch. St. Mary's will be loaded this year in girls basketball. They won the state championship. They got 4 of their starters back. They got their first 2 subs, who are outstanding, back. Wilson came out of the net to make that save in a maze of players. They let the ball go to Kennison. She throws it upfield. Headed out right onto the top of the scoring table. And Mary's takes it away. looking to get around. They try to throw it out in front. Nice defense out in front. They had a player wide open looking for a shot, and the defense stepped up and got a foot on it and knocked it away. Knocked it out. St. Mary's will get the throw in. Now in this game, we didn't have it obviously in the consolation rounds. It doesn't exist. But in this game, if it winds up a flat-footed tie, it'll be a tie for state tournament purposes, but there will be a shootout, penalty kicks, because somebody has to win the championship and take the cup home. They knock it deep, foot race. Classical gets there first, pushing it ahead. And now it gets pushed and knocked out. I think they're calling it off St. Mary's, so Classical's going to get a corner kick. Coming from the far side. Almost like a ground ball. They got a foot on it. They almost knocked it home. Nice save by Kennison. It was a little ground ball. And it goes out. And Classical out in front was able to get a foot on it. Now they get a head on it. And they just keep it in. Now they knock it out. Almost impossible to pick up Classical's numbers with that little light yellow number on the back. I think it was Papazoglou who had that shot. She just got a foot on it, directed it, and it went right to the net. And it was Papazoglou. Classical had a big year last year. They went undefeated in the Greater Boston League. They only lost a couple of games, and they wound up ranked somewhere around 40th or 44th or someplace, because that new system used to be wins and losses. You would line up. The team with the most wins would be number one. Now the record is, it's not meaningless, but it's been a revamped, and it's really a wacky new system. I don't know who does it. Somebody from the MIA rates the leagues. That's first and foremost. Like last year, Everett football, if not the best, certainly one of the top 2 or 3 in the state. They didn't make it in the top 8. They had an away game because they rated their league as not a good league. Even though they were undefeated, they didn't get a home game. There was one team that came in to play St. Mary's girls basketball. They were 5-15. I said, 5-15, you never even got a sniff at a state tournament. So a totally revamped system for ranking teams and lining up the state tournaments, and teams had to travel. Classical had to go, I think, almost to Cape Cod to play a game. There was one team that last year had to go to the Cape, take a boat across to the island, play a volleyball game, and then come back home, and the schools had to pay for all their travel. Because they opened it up to the entire state. They didn't make it just east and west or north and south. The entire state is ranked as one in the different divisions. So the teams had to travel multi-distances, long ways. One team had to travel from South Massachusetts or north or wherever, they had to go to the edge of New York State to play a game. So I was hoping that somebody would all of a sudden say, wait a minute, we can make a little bit of a change. And I asked somebody, why can't you play East and West and then meet in the final? And they said, nope, it's the entire state. So depending where you fall, St. Mary's girls basketball was ranked #1. They got a huge break. They were able to play home virtually until the semifinal, and then the final in Lowell. Otherwise, they would have been traveling all who knows where to play who knows who. I don't think they've changed that. I think it's still the same. This is the third game of the day. There'll be one more. Classical and Tech, and that will be the Moreno family. Once again, they've had it a few times in this tournament. I think it's at least back-to-back, if not. So I think it's 2 years in a row, might be 3. The Moreno family, Eric Sr. coaches Tech, Eric Jr. coaches Classical. And the father has his daughter as an assistant. Trying to get it in front. There was Maloney breaking to the net, looking to get a piece of it. But Wilson got there first, picked it off, and boots it away. So St. Mary's has been all around the net. Blocked. Head away. Oh, Papazoglou took that right almost in the face. I think that was McGuire. Thank God she's okay. That was a rip. She went for the ball. McGuire kicking it upfield, kicked it right into her face. The ball has stayed mostly in the Classical end. And it's there again down the far side. Took the shot, drilled it high, wide, and over everything out of play. That's one of the Skabikas with the shot. There's two of them, Issy and Sophie. So a few minutes in, we're going to get a timeout down in the field with the score 0-0. St. Mary's and Classical in this 2022 Championship Girls Final. We come out of the timeout. Classical will be kicking it away. St. Mary's keeps it in. Deflected away. St. Mary's collects down the far side. They complete the pass. Looking to walk around. They just got a piece of it and knocked it away from the would-be St. Mary's shooter, and Wilson picks it off and boots it away. Picture perfect day here at Manning Field. First day of the tournament. First day that people were coming and going to get a look at the brand new returfed. Nice defense. Looked like they're going to walk in, and they got a little bit of a nudge and push the player off the ball. Now the shot goes wide. But the first day of the tournament, looking to show off the new field, and it rained all day Monday, and then the tournament Tuesday, it rained most of the day Tuesday, and the field was kind of wet and damp and dark. Now everybody's getting a good look with the sun shining, gorgeous day. Couldn't ask for a better day to sit out and watch a soccer game. A little tough for the kids to play because it's a little bit warm, but it's a little warmer down on that turf. Classical had a little bit of a threat there, and now it winds up back into Classical end. And it's going to be St. Mary's getting a corner kick. Coming from the far side. By everybody. And then it gets knocked out. And St. Mary's will get the throw in. Trying to get through a couple of defenders. Somehow she still winds up with it. They're looking to get a shot off. It got blocked. Classical finally knocks it deep. Blocked, battling for it. And we're going to get contact called against St. Mary's. They ran into and kept using the body to try and take the ball away from Classical. Classical will get the free kick. Looking to go get it out in front. They get the shot off. Couldn't get a lot on it. The ball wasn't on the turf. It was bouncing, and she had to get her foot on it and just kind of touched it. And Kennison was able to make the save. Blocked and picked off. And gets knocked out by Classical. Classical has a substitution. Classical trying to knock it to the net. Classical knocks it out. St. Mary's will get another corner kick. I believe it's Diaz taking the corner kick from the near side. Everybody milling around, everybody looking to break to the net. Little line drive, it gets kicked out. I think they're calling it off St. Mary's. So Glasgow will get to kick it away. The numbers for Classical, even when they're right down in front of us, are extremely hard to pick up. A very faint, very light gold number on the back. I know it's green and gold for Classical, but they could have put maybe a green number on the back would have been better. They never think of the press box when they make up these uniforms with the numbers. Glasgow will kick it away. Glasgow picked it off. And English knocks it out. We'll get a couple of subs for St. Mary's. Jim Foley, been around forever coaching St. Mary's. Does a great job. Jessica Gambali, brand new on the bench. Doing a very nice job for Lynn Classical with 2 wins in her first 2 games. Not a bad start for the new coach. I guess the net, it gets knocked away. St. Mary's winds up with it. Back with the pass. Classical trying to let it go out of play. Nice job fending off the would-be goal scorer and letting the ball go out of play. And Classical will get to kick it away again. Classical breaks it up. St. Mary's got it back. Classical takes it away. And now they knock the St. Mary's player down. I think that's Maloney. And St. Mary's will get a free kick. And just inside the 30-yard line from that far side angle. Drills it to the net. Wilson got a good look at that one. Played it on a hop. St. Mary's right back at it. They knock it deep again. Wilson will go down and field it. Looked like a shortstop fielding a ground ball. St. Mary's right back at it. They've been kept the ball in Classical end most of the game, most of this half. Back again down the far side. Classical gets there and knocks it out. Subs for both sides. St. Mary's tips it away just as looked like Classical is going to get it. Now Classical knocks it out. It stays in the Classical end. It's been there for quite a while. No legitimate scoring opportunities, but now that's Thurman letting it go out of play. Oh, very good basketball player. A lot of these young ladies, multi-sports. Wilson, the goaltender, very good basketball player. Shot on net. Wilson, another ground ball. Wilson's able to field it easily. She's made a few, a lot of those ground balls. Hasn't had to make any big time saves. And now St. Mary's with a break, trying to knock it deep. Knocked away. Hustling back was Flaherty. She's a defender, but she got caught going upfield, kicking up. She had to hustle back. Nadarelli knocked it out. Oscar knocks it deep and out of play. They knock it out off Classical. St. Mary's knocks it out. Skabikas knocks it up. That's Sophie Skabikas. I mentioned there's two of them. Went out. Glasgow throws it quickly in. And St. Mary's knocks it back the other end. Glasgow with it. And St. Mary's knocks it out. And St. Mary's brings it back the other way. Trying to knock it deep, looking for Maloney. Coming to the near side, it's going to go out. And Skabikas quickly gets it in. And Glasgow knocks it out again. Clear cross field. Glasgow's there to knock it away and knock it out. Broken up, just got a foot on it, try to lead Maloney to the net. Glasgow knocks it into the St. Mary's bench area. Not too many scoring chances for either team. St. Mary certainly had the better of them, territorial-wise. Skabikas hustles back, picks it up. Still with it. And gets it knocked out. Now they call it off Skabikas. Maloney takes it away. Nice defense. Maloney just started to go around the defense. He reached and got a piece and took the ball away. Popped up off a Glasgow head. Booted straight up in the air by Fritz. Nice little shift. Goes to the far side, a little bit behind the intended receiver. And Glasgow takes it away. Nice little shift. And they clear it upfield. Glasgow takes it away, still going. And slipped, lost their balance and went down. Good effort. Just pass, somehow it got to Maloney. They tip it ahead. Looking to walk in. Takes the shot. Great save by Wilson. Couple of terrific moves by Maloney. She got loose for the left foot, drilled it, looking to go inside the near post. Wilson dove and made a great save. Contact against St. Mary's. Glasgow will get the free kick, but what a great try by Maloney. Outstanding save by Wilson. She drew it around nicely around the defense to get loose for the shot. Looked like she had it. Wilson took it away. Two great efforts. Headed away by St. Mary's. They knock it deep down the far side. Glasgow gets around. And he took the shot, but they were at a horrible angle. Knocked it over the net and out of play. I think that was Maloney again. Good effort. Glasgow will get to kick it away. This is off St. Mary's. Glasgow kicks it upfield. St. Mary's keeps it in. Nice little shift. Shot from long range. Go wide left. Still 0-0. This championship round of 2022 Lynn Soccer Championship Tournament. Blocked by Glasgow. Blocked by St. Mary's. Everybody trying to get a piece of it. Maloney finally comes up with it. Skabikas from long range. Almost put it in the net. And St. Mary's had a shot and they knocked it over the net. Skabikas put it on the net. Wilson made the save. It deflected behind her. She had to go behind her, falling down, reached, got a piece of the ball, and with her hand kind of pushed it away and pushed it right to a St. Mary's shooter who had a wide open net and shot it over the net. So Sophie Skabikas almost got St. Mary's on the board. Wilson had the initial save. It went off her hand and actually went behind her. Luckily, she was a couple of feet out in front of the net and had room to bounce a couple of times, not go in the net, and she dove back, had the presence of mind to dive back and just swatted away with her hand and put it right on the foot of a St. Mary's player who knocked it over the net. St. Mary's came that close to getting the lead with time winding down. Out in front, we got bodies going down as Wilson in the middle of the pack grabs it and holds on. We're in the final 2 minutes and counting of a scoreless first half. That would have been a tough goal for Glasgow to give up. A great reaction by Wilson. Yeah, Glasgow will get called for a takedown. Wrapped up, St. Mary's player is still down. Miss Gagnon, the trainer, what a great job she does for St. Mary's. All their sports. She's been around for a long time. Her father was an outstanding football player for Salem High School. So we're going to get a brief timeout while they check on the injured player with time winding down here in the scoreless first half. Okay, go ahead. St. Mary's player went down, and they worked on her, and they covered her up pretty good. We couldn't pick up her number. And she's over being worked on by Miss Gagnon. So we hope Lily is going to be okay. Free kick coming from just around the 30-yard line from an angle. Knocked down. Wilson had it, couldn't hold on. It laid in front, and the defense did a nice job knocking it away. I believe it was Duncan. But that was Wilson when coming out of the net, tried to catch it. It deflected off her hand, bounced out in front. It was loose, and the defense knocked it away. And they blow the whistle, and that'll be the end of the first half. So not a whole lot going on in the first half. It was Sophie Skabikas late in the half with a drill that went off Lauren Wilson. It got behind her, looked like it was going in. Wilson, great reaction, reached back with her hand and swatted it away, gave it to a St. Mary's player who knocked it over the net, and that was the best chance for either team in this first half, as the first half ends the same way it began. Classical nothing, St. Mary's nothing at halftime. Welcome back as the players make their way out to the field to start the second half. 0-0. Bit of an edge to St. Mary's on territorial-wise. They had the one very good scoring opportunity with Sophie Skabikas almost snuck it in, and Lauren Wilson made the initial save and then great reaction when the ball tipped behind her. She made a great reaction to reach back and slap it away. And St. Mary's picks off the pass. They didn't throw that pass ahead. They threw it sideways. Brooke Maloney trying to collect it. They're going to get Maloney, I think, for taking down the classical player. Classical, we had to kick it away. But again, territorial-wise, it was in the classical end most of the half. Kanston didn't really have to do an awful lot in net. Anything that got to her was from very long range and easily held. And we got another whistle for more contact, and St. Mary's now will kick it away. Deflected by Classical. St. Mary's winds up with it. Classical knocks it away. He'll chase it to the near side. Looking to get it to the net. And it was off to the right side. But Wilson went and got it over the shoulder, made the catch. And St. Mary's right back at it. Tipping it ahead. All they could do is just get a little bit of a tip to the net. They were surrounded by defensive players. Maloney got knocked down on the play. And it just kind of rolled in to Wilson. She made the easy save. Haskell looking for a break. 1-on-3. They get it by, looking to walk in. And they made contact as she was taking the shot. No call on the knockdown. I think that was Papazoglou. She made a great move, got by, walking in, and just as she would look like she was going to take a rifle shot, they just got a little bit of a nudge. She was going down, didn't get a lot on it. Kennison was able to make the save. Good effort by Mia Papazoglou. Klasko with the free kick. Knocked away by St. Mary's. Looking to knock it deep. Maloney kicks it ahead. Skabikas shot off the side of the net, put the left foot on. Couldn't get it to hook back. It just stayed out straight off the side of the net and out of play. Sophie Skabikas, I think she's a freshman. She's a basketball player as well. I mentioned all these young ladies are multi-sport athletes. And here comes Skabikas knocking it deep. Try to save it. Klasko heads it away. And get knocked out. St. Mary's was going back up field. Fritz was going back up like it went off her, but then they called it off Classical, and now it goes out. And Classical will kick it away. 2022 Girls Championship Final, Lynn Soccer Tournament. And it goes out of play. Blocked, kept in. Skavikas gets a foot on it. Maloney trying to center it, got blocked. Classical clears it away. Looking for a break. Down the far side. Fritz hustling over to play defense. Classical's all by themselves. He gets knocked out. Classical wind up with a corner kick. She was in isolation way over in the far corner against Fritz, all by herself. Had nowhere to go. I think that was Parker. But she had no place to go and nobody to give it to. But Fritz knocked it out, and Glasgow will get a corner kick coming from the far side. Dead center right in front of the net. And Candace went up and grabbed it with two hands and held on. Nice job. Good kick from the corner. Right in the middle of the net in a whole bunch of traffic. And Candace did a great job coming up from the middle of all that traffic. Shot gets blocked. They're calling it off St. Mary's. I thought Classical blocked it. That was a great corner kick right in the middle, but Candace did a great job in a whole bunch of traffic. Just grabbed it very quickly and made sure nobody got a piece of it. And we got contact. St. Mary's went down. It skips through. Great save. Point blank range. I don't know if that was Skabikas. The ball bounced. Nobody had it. She got a foot on it, drilled it right in the middle of the net. And Wilson made a tremendous save. Point blank, a rifle shot. And Wilson made a great save and keeps it 0-0. Just a long kick. It bounced. Everybody standing around looking at it. I think it was Skabikas. Rifled the shot. Knocked ahead. Classical knocks it back. And she was 1-on-5 clearing it upfield. And it goes out of play. skips by everybody and just barely touched the classical player, went out. St. Mary's will throw it in quickly. St. Mary's gets there first, knocks it up. Scabis knocks it ahead. And it gets knocked out by classical. Fritz very quickly puts it in play. Scabicus gets around the defense. Trying to get around again, does. And finally gets knocked out by classical. St. Mary's will get a corner kick. I think this is Riley McGuire taking the corner kick. Again, it's awful hard to pick up the numbers. They let it go through. They let it go by, and then they lined up from the 10-yard line, and they ripped it high over the net and out of play. They went through like they were going to kick it, overran it, and left it for Scabicus. And she was wide open and got just a little too much foot into it. And Sophie kicked it up over everything. He gets knocked back downfield. They were going to give it up to Maloney. And they hustle back and knock it out. And St. Mary's will get another corner kick. Again, coming from the near side. They booted deep. They were coming in from the far side. It went right by the St. Mary's player coming in from that far side and went out. Hoskell will put it in play. Off St. Mary's again. Nice little shift, looking to get the shot, can't, shift again. Tip to the head, but they thought Scabicus was going to break to the net, and they pushed it forward, and she stayed where she was. Scabicus gets it to the net and puts it home. She made a couple of nice moves around the defense. Went left, went right, came back to the right, lifted a high arcing shot that went over the head of Wilson. And Sophie Scabicus gets St. Mary's on the board. So St. Mary's breaks the ice, and that's the first goal that Classical has given up this year in their first two games. All that pressure by St. Mary's finally pays off. Maloney gets stopped. Classical kicks it out. Just a perfect little pooch. Right around the 10-yard line to the near side. She was covered closely. She made a move to the right, moved to the left, came back to the right. Just as she came back to the right, She lifted it, and you can see it just slowly going over the head of Wilson in net, and just under the top crossbar. And St. Mary's has grabbed a 1-0 lead. Getting around, they line up the shot straight on. Wilson got a good look at that one. That one came from the other Skabika, Sissy. It skipped by, it got tipped. And Maloney tried to keep it alive. She slid. Just as Wilson was trying to tie it up, Maloney slid, but all she could do was knock it out of bounds. Good effort. Trying to keep it alive. Glasgow will get the throw-in. It has not been in St. Mary's end very much. Out off Classical. Right back in the Classical end. And Classical has to kick it away. A lot of these young ladies know each other well. Growing up, maybe playing AAU. Here in high school, playing other sports, basketball, softball. Shot, blocked, and went over the net and out of play. I just saw Maloney when the ball went out of play. She wound up almost in the lap of Wilson, put 2 hands on her shoulder, and probably smiled and had a little conversation. Wilson's a multi-sport athlete. Maloney is too. And yeah, I mean, so many sports that these kids play against each other. They play maybe with each other earlier. Youth sports, maybe soccer programs growing up. There's AAU softball and basketball, and of course for the high schools. And some of them might be neighbors because in the past it was East Lynn, West Lynn. That doesn't happen anymore. You can live anywhere and go to either school. And one of the better athletes for Lynn Glasgow lived right across the street, right across from the exit of the parking lot. That close. And went to Glasgow. And she was trying to chip it to the net off the side of the foot, and she sliced it way off to the right side and out of play. We got the Danas for Glasgow, who are daughters of the baseball coach at St. Mary's. They're very good softball players and basketball players, so they probably play with and against a lot of these kids from St. Mary's. Again, the ball's back in the Classical end. When Classical does get it at the other end, it doesn't stay there very long. Way downfield, Kennison goes down to recover the fumble. Or, excuse me, Wilson goes down. Awumi with it. We mentioned, she said, one of the bigger girls out there, a tremendous basketball player. She had a huge part in leading St. Mary's to a state championship. As a 7th grader, Wilson went high in the air. That ball was going wide and off to the right, but she got a piece of it, knocked it out. St. Mary's will get a corner kick. Mentioned she's 7th grader. She made the big defensive play in Lowell to help St. Mary's win the championship, blocking a last-second shot that could have tied the game. And now she comes here in a soccer game. She gets 3 goals to help them get to the championship final. They try to line it up and take the shot, and all they could do was pop it up. And we got a contact, and they're calling against Classical, I think. So St. Mary's will get the free kick. I think this is McGuire. And that one goes wide right and out of play. Kicked as though she's going to try and hook it, bring it back in. So 1-0 St. Mary's, and we're going to get a timeout down on the field. Out of the timeout, just over 17 minutes left in the game. St. Mary's leading it 1-0 on that perfect shot by Sophie Skabikas. And of course, this is for the bragging rights in the city. The 4 high schools got together. And we're down to the final 2 with the girls. And we're coming up on the final 15 minutes. And we mentioned, again, that was a Classical 2-0 in their games. That's the first goal they've given up in the 2022 season. St. Mary's played only the 1 game. They haven't given up a goal yet either. That shot from long range down deep goes behind the net and out of play. Skabikas had another shot in the first half where she drilled it, and Wilson made the save, and it slipped behind her. It looked like it was going in the net. And Wilson, great reaction to the ball, reached back and slapped it away with her hand. But then Skabikas got even with that not free kick, but kick from right around the 10-yard line from tough angle to the near side. Now getting around, trying to get the shot on net. It got blocked before it got there. And battling, and St. Mary's banging and whacking. And she wasn't going after the ball. She was upset because she had taken away. She was pushing and shoving, trying to get St. Mary's off the ball. They finally called her for the contact. Skabikas again. St. Mary's knocks it deep. They let it go through to Wilson. They were going to play it, and Laura Wilson might have said something to her defender because she stepped out of the way at the last minute, last second actually, and Wilson was able to scoop it up and kick it away. Nice little shift. And that went off the side of the foot. They're looking for a break and they get called offside. They had two, looked like they had 2 on none. I don't know if that's Maloney, but like favoring the left ankle a little bit. A little bit of a limp. It's not Maloney, it's one of the defenders. Again, awful hard to pick up the numbers. This is Maloney now. Skabikas fakes from long range, easy pickings for Wilson as it rolls in. And it goes out. Off St. Mary's. Substitutions. 1 for each team. I think they saw that defender limping a little bit, favoring that ankle. She looked okay leaving the field now. Probably walked it off. It goes off the head, gets deflected back to Kennison. She has to come out and go get it. Has a couple of white shirts bearing down on her. They looked to head it upfield. Instead, they headed it backwards. Coming down the middle, St. Mary's again. Haskell gets it to the St. Mary's end, and very quickly it comes back the other way. Deflected away. St. Mary's will get there and keep it in. Now Classical knocks it out. It will be the other half of the Classical team, the boys, taking on Tech. In the final game of the day, the boys' championship round. Down the far side, getting it back, getting it in the middle, deflected. They take the shot, just went over the top crossbar. They chipped it to the net, and it just went over the top crossbar. I think that's Issy Skabikas. She was wide open around the 15-yard line, chipped it, got it dead center, but just enough foot to get it over the net, over the top crossbar, and out of play. He knocks it down, gets it back, knocks it upfield. Knocking it away. And they're going to call a collision. The two Glasgow players can't believe it. They both went for the ball, and they call contact against Glasgow. They drill it, one bounce. Wilson gets a good look, and she boots it deep, headed away by St. Mary's. They knock it back into the Glasgow end. Maloney gets around, knocks it away, looking to go get it. Takes the shot, gets it on net, but easy pickings for Wilson. And a high, booming kick by Wilson. Bounces well beyond midfield. They fan on it. St. Mary's kicks it back the other way. And it goes out off St. Mary's. Ten minutes and counting left in this one. The one goal by Sophie Skabikas, the difference. It skips past St. Mary's. Glasgow couldn't take advantage. Now it goes out into the Glasgow bench area. We're going to sub for St. Mary's, and St. Mary's plays it inbounds. Mahoney knocks it all the way back. Glasgow knocks it away. St. Mary's knocks it wide of the net. Wilson will kick it away. And it gets knocked out again by Glasgow. Fritz will put it in play. Skapikas got broken up. And Skapikas takes the player down. And they're going to give Skapikas a yellow card, I think, just to go to the bench. I think she's a little upset that they took a ball away. She made a couple of moves, and when she went to go get the ball, they took it away, and then she just took the player down, and the player is still down. There was a collision down around the foot, the ankle, and Ms. Gagnon will come out quickly to check on the Glasgow player. got a brief timeout down on the field. Tom Sawyer was a little bit upset. I don't think that it looked like number 11, but I don't think it was, because that didn't look like Ava Thurman. Glasgow will get to kick it away. I know all the Thurmans. That didn't look like Ava Thurman. I don't think that was her. Tom Sawyer would be upset if Ava Thurman got hurt. She's a very good basketball player. 6 minutes left in this one. They almost gave it away. Glasgow almost got it. Delaney Dana wound up with it, drilled it, got it past Kennison, but it just slipped past the far post. That close to tying the game up. St. Mary's almost gave it back to Glasgow to get back in the game. She walked in and drilled it and just missed sticking it in the far post from the near side. Great bid by Delaney Dana. They knock it deep, but there's no white shirts back there. And St. Mary's will knock it right back to the Glasgow end. Two bodies battling deep in the corner on the far side. Finally, kick it loose, and St. Mary's pops it up, looking to get a foot on it. Wilson will finally come out and slide and grab it. There were two blue shirts, but they couldn't get the bouncing ball. Wilson finally settled that argument, slid out and got it. Haskell almost got a break again. Just couldn't slide between the defender, off the defender. St. Mary's with the throw-in. Glasgow trying to keep it alive. They tip it. And it goes out off St. Mary's. They knock it back deep again. Deflected off Glasgow. Deflected off St. Mary's. Maloney looking for it. Awumi trying to get it. St. Mary's just got a piece, didn't knock it out. Classical keeps it in. They pushed it way too far and it goes out of play. Good effort by Delaney again. Classical make a couple of substitutions. Winding down this championship game. Sophie Skabikas, the difference with her goal. Classical blocks it and knocks it out. And it goes out off Classical. Closing minutes, St. Mary's got it where they want it in the Classical end. Awumi try to stop in motion. Maloney trying to get around, broken up nicely by the defense. Deflects away. St. Mary's able to keep it in the Classical end. They knock it deep. Wilson will get to kick it away. St. Mary's knocks it back to the Classical end. And it goes out off Classical. Wilson scoops it up. We're in the final 2 minutes. And now we're in the final end of the game. So the one goal, Classical's given up one goal in 3 games, and it cost them dearly. St. Mary's will be the 2022 Lynn City Soccer Tournament champions. They'll get the bragging rights. Sophie Skabikas, early in the first half, she got the shot on net. Laura Wilson made the save. It deflected behind her. Looked like it was going in the net for the first goal. Wilson reacted greatly, got back and swatted it away and kept it 0-0 at halftime. But then in the second half, about midway, Skabikas had it down the near side, going from right to left. She made a couple of little dekes to get around the defender and just kicked a little pooch. Perfect pop-up, just sailed right over the head of Lauren Wilson, who played very well in net, just under the top crossbar, over the fingertips of Wilson into the back of the net, made it 1-0. Later on, St. Mary's almost gave it away. Delaney Dana had a golden opportunity from the near side, rifled it, got by everybody, including the goaltender, but it just skipped past the far left post, and it went out of play, and that's as close as Classical came to scoring. Classical, I think, will get the runner-up prize, and we'll have the presentation, the teams congratulating each other. 2 very good teams, played very well. St. Mary's dominated a little bit territorial-wise, kept it in the Classical end, especially near the end when they needed to get it out of there. And that one goal by Sophie Skabikas stands up. St. Mary's goes 2-0 in the tournament. They don't give up a goal. 2 shutouts. And we're waiting to see the presentation of the championship trophy to the Spartan coaches and captains. Jeff Newhall, the AD, will make the presentation. St. Mary's captains come out. And I think it's Olivia Egan, Julia Downey, and Allie Fritz. Those are the 3 seniors. They're the 3 captains. And the championship trophy will be added to that long list of awards that St. Mary's has in their trophy case. Sophie Skabikas will get presented the MVP trophy. Her goal, the difference, a very pretty unassisted goal. She got it done, and she'll get the award from Jeff Newhall, have her picture taken. So we're down, we had 8 games to play when we first started last Tuesday. We're down to the final game. St. Mary's Girls has won the girls' championship, and now it'll be the Moreno family. Eric Jr. coaching Glasgow, Eric Sr. coaching Lynn Tech, and that will be the final game of the tournament. It'll be the boys' championship final coming up, but right now it'll be St. Mary's celebrating 2022 Lynn City Championship Soccer Tournament. The champions, the Lady St. Mary's Spartans, in a very tough game against a very good Glasgow team. Sophie Skabikas, the MVP of the tournament, gets the 1 goal, and St. Mary's wins it 1-0 over Glasgow. Glasgow will go to 2-1. St. Mary's will go to 2-0. So 1-0 St. Mary's in this girls' final. We hope you enjoyed it. I'm John Hoffman saying we'll see you next time.